Welcome back to A Note to the Runners extended edition. In this micro podcast, I want to give you an understanding behind my inspiration, the stories, anything that helped bring to life all the 42 poems in my upcoming book, A Note to the Runners. So it's probably obvious, but this little podcast is sponsored by A Note to the Runners. I've put my heart and soul into this project. So if you could subscribe, whether that's on YouTube, Spotify, Substack, whatever it may be, it would mean the world to me. Drop me an email and I'll send you all the updates and some other things along the way. And I think that's one of the best things you could do is subscribe, because not only will we hear updates about the book, but I have some partnerships in the lead up to the exhibition and the book launch that you probably will want to be a part of. So here we go, day 6, poem number 6, which means it must be 36 days till my exhibition and book launch on October 4th. Anyway, this one is called Don't Become a Number. Don't become a number. Don't shrink yourself to a course outline. Don't become a time, an outfit in the pack, a piece of data, a ranking, a list of podium finishes, a wake-up alarm. Don't tie yourself to a graph. The moment you reduce yourself to a number, you give away the magic. Numbers belong in the places you aren't. They should never take your place. Numbers only help tell your story just a little bit better. Now, this one is, I think, very apparent in the running world, and this is what I wanted to talk to, is just that, particularly in the track space, or actually in any kind of competitive space in running, it's just like, we will label people based on their times. It's like, oh, they're a 15-minute guy, or they're a 4-minute runner, whether they're talking about their 1,500-meter time, or maybe we talk about the time that they ran 100 miles in, or they're a 7-hour runner, maybe that's their 100-hour time. And I think it's so wild how we reduce people to numbers and times, and I still do it. It happens in conversations with my friends, and it's just, we refer to people by the number that they are. Oh, they're a 2:20 marathon runner. It's just like, whoa, hold up, they're so much more than that. But we take this very reductionist stance and label, and that's all they end up being. And one of my favorite runners, Tommy Reeves, he talked about this once, I think, on the Rich Roll podcast, and he's like, I hope, like, in the end that I'm remembered more than for just being a 2:17 marathon runner. And he's a father, and he's a poet, and just such an incredible human. He's like, there's more to life than just being a 2:17 marathon runner. And I think about that, and even with this book, that's one of the biggest things. It's just like, I know as a fact from all the people that I run with, they are so much more than just the times and the distances they run, or the podiums that they've collected. And even on YouTube videos that I've watched, they'll put up all the like accolades and achievements of these runners, and it's just like, well, I kind of want to know what they're like as a human. It's like, are they a kind person? Are they, what do they do in their free time? What do their friends say about them? And I think that's so much more important. And we love to get caught up in the numbers. We love to just assign times and achievements and medals and records to people. But again, all those things one day we'll forget about. And I know we'll probably forget about all the champions and all the times in even like my, I don't know, great grandkids. They won't care what my 5,000 meter time was, or how far I ran, or if I ran 100 miles or not. So most of these things are irrelevant, and I think it's just like, what kind of person can we be, and why don't we talk about the kind of humans that we are, rather than just, or even the way that we talk about ourselves. It's like, we're so much more than the times that we run, or on a weekly basis. It's we're more than our Strava graph, we're more than our 3-month training block, and we're more than the outfits that we wear or a ranking, or even I think some people love to identify with the time that they wake up. It's like, oh, that person gets up at 4 a.m. every day. I'm like, I don't really care what time they wake up in the morning. It's like, what gets them out of bed in the morning, I think, is the bigger question. It's what do they feel when they're on their run, and what are they excited by? There's so much more than the numbers. And for anybody that's ever come across my first book, Why Don't You? Thoughts Worth Thinking, one of the end poems in that book is Numbers Game. And it again alludes to this idea of that we are immeasurable and so much more than a number, so much more than a graph. And as the world gets faster and busier and we become more obsessed with social media and likes and views and all of this, and I know all these things have helped get this book out, but again, it's just like, how do we make people feel? Because when we just strip ourselves or isolate ourselves just to a number, we miss out on all the beautiful things in life. And everything that is real, we kind of take away when we just assign ourselves to a graph, a number, an outfit, or a piece of data. Or even just, I know a lot of people that will go and have a look at someone's heart rate data and all their splits, and it's just like, who cares what their heart rate data is? It's like, did they have a good run? Like, what did they notice on the run? What did they learn from the world? Who did they bump into? What made them smile? Were they stressed? I think there's so many more human things to care about than, they ran at 5:07 pace. They should have been jogging at 5:40 pace, or that's a bit slow for them. And we look at them as a number, but we miss the greater picture. We need to zoom out more. Because I think, looking at a number is a very macro way to view life. Almost quite a sad way to view life. So as I conclude the poem of numbers only help tell your story just a little bit better, I think they definitely can provide context and add to a story, but they shouldn't be the main story. And that's what this poem is. And I think if you ever find yourself just being like getting caught up in the numbers, just pause, step back and be like, hold up, I'm a human first, I'm not a number. And come back and actually look for the magic in everyday life. Don't lose that, don't give it away. So there you go. That is day 6. I look forward to seeing you and talking to you again tomorrow for day 7. Wonder what the 7th poem of the book is going to be. Anyway, I would love if you could subscribe to this podcast, to this YouTube, to this Substack, or if you could drop me your email. That's probably the most important thing, because I have some things in store for you as we build up to the exhibition on October 4th for my upcoming and my first poetry book, A Note to the Runners. So thanks for listening. Please share this with a friend. Please share my website with someone that loves poetry or loves running, because I think this book really talks to the runners and all the nuances and all the things that we feel as a runner. And I'd love to see it on as many coffee tables or in as many handbags or on as many flights around the world as possible. So again, thank you for the support. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.